Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. We have almost full room, and I'm happy that many of you are interested to hear news regarding new MyQ Ultimate Edition. We call this webinar as a Reaching New Horizons with smart workflows. We will explain a little bit later what is it about. And we organize this webinar together with our technology partner, ScannerVision. Let me introduce myself. My name is Michael Greppel. I am Chief Business Development Officer at MyQ. And together, co-organizer of this call is Brian Young, Head of Business Development of Europe from ScannerVision. Hello, Brian.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on your time zone. Thank you very much for joining this session. So I hope from our side you find it informative. There is the option to ask questions as we go through this today. So please feel free to do so, and we will pick these up as we go through the session.
Thank you. So regarding what you can expect today, we did little of introduction, but we will mention and we will introduce the new technology partnership between MyQ and ScannerVision. Then we will talk about new market challenges, what such technology partnership brings to us, brings to you as a partners, and brings to our customer. We will talk about a lot of regarding how the new edition and new module can be used in real life and real business. So we will explain few use cases from the user and customer point of view for better picture for you what is behind. And at the end, of course, or during the session, you can place your questions. We will try to answer them. If we will not catch it during the webinar, we will send you all the answers after the webinar. So write any questions you like into the chat, and you will definitely get your answer during or after the webinar. So why new partnership? Why MyQ decided to have a new partner regarding scanning and workflow? MyQ is, let's say, one of the leaders and experts in area of print management. Our solution was mainly based for printing, for fleet management, accounting, reporting, all the stuff you need to do regarding printing. But nowadays, the customer demand are much higher, and we decided to cover also other needs which are not related only to the print or basic scan, but we would like to cover their needs and demand regarding advanced possibility of scanning, capturing, and workflow. And for us, this is a really new area, and we decided to do the best step, and we chose one very experienced partner who is a ScannerVision, and we made this integration. We joined our products together to be able to support and provide our customer the best what they require.
Yeah, so from the ScannerVision side, we've partnered with MyQ for over 5 or 6 years now. In the early days, we realized that between us, that there is this need to have something a little bit more than just integrated scanning. So we've always had an interaction between the two bits of software, which has involved a little bit of configuration, but has always worked well. But as the market has changed and as it's grown, it's been more important now to create, essentially from the user's perspective, a unified product. So everything that we're going to explain to you today is all done through the MyQ single user interface. So you log on once, you don't have to come out of the MyQ interface into the device settings. So this is what this integration is all about. So while we've had it in a certain way, we've now enhanced that and allowed far more flexibility and functionality. So it's a long-term partnership historically, and we see this as a long-term partnership going forward, because we're always developing and having new ideas. And because MyQ own their product and they have their own developers, the same as we do, all these developers are talking together all the time. So this is just the start of this journey with the two products now, taking it really to the next level.
We call this session as reaching new horizons, and we really feel that MyQ is moving to the completely new area of business, and we are ready to deliver the best regarding the product and offer to a customer really new experiences regarding their digital transformation, office automation, or processes improvement, all with the following smart workflows.
Okay, so if we look at some of the challenges and things that we need to overcome, when you look at print management software, that there are bits of software. MyQ can do this. We can do some OCR and connect to OCR engines and things like that. So when we look at the way the market is and what we need to do is we need to add to that. We need to add some value to doing optical character recognition. So we've enhanced this massively with this integration now, that there's far more ways in which we can do optical character recognition. There are far more types of documents that we can convert to. Again, it's automatic. We can scan whole pages. We can convert into PDFs or Word documents. We can even read zones on documents as well. So this is an area that is quite straightforward, people expect, but it does take it now to a level much higher than the competitive products. And if we take that one step further, this is where we actually start to capture documents now and extract data from those documents. So we're not just reading text as we were with optical character recognition. We're reading the text or a barcode or a QR code or some other data from a sheet, and we're processing that and using that data, what we term as metadata, going forward. So this allows things, very simple things like documents to be named with the value of a barcode, or to be put into a folder that's from an invoice number read from a document. And similarly, we've got ways where we can update accounting systems with various fields on a page. Which leads us into the automation part, because one of the key things is that once you've read the data, you've extracted the data, and you've worked with the data, then the next stage is then to automate that and move the documents automatically into other systems. So there's many different ways that we can do that. But as I say, by even reading from a page, we can drop into a document management system, for example, where it can be automatically indexed. Or if certain values are not seen on a page, then it can be referred to someone for some manual intervention. But this automated process really does move things forward in quite a good way. And then the other side of the market that we're moving into in a big way now is mobile devices. Now, a lot of what we're going to be talking to you about today is around the MyQ interface and bringing documents in through a single unified platform. But the ability to work with those documents, once you've captured them, processed them and stored them away, they become a digital document. The paper document becomes less important. So we now have mobile scanning and a desktop client where you can interact with the documents once you've converted them using the smart workflows into a digital format. And then finally, it's capturing from other document types as well. So we see this as a suite of products. The entry point here is with smart workflows through a device to convert the paper. Once that's been converted, you can use a mobile device, but then you've got the option of capturing documents from other sources as well, such as emails and things like that. So what you are creating, and what we are helping you create with the MyQ Ultimate and the Smart Workflow solution, is this complete package of providing a solution to a customer with print management, hardware, and scanning and document processing software, all as one single package.
So what is smart workflow, or what are smart workflows powered by ScannerVision? If you check MyQ website, you can nearly see 3 different editions which appears. The edition Smart, which is completely for free and covers all the server part regarding device management, print, and mobile print, for example. Then the Enterprise edition, which is the flagboard, that the main edition we sell and we provide to our customer. And you can find the Ultimate edition, which differs to the Enterprise only based on the scan workflow and document processing. This is the main meaning of the smart workflows, and that's why Ultimate differs to Enterprise. So what brings to a customer using smart workflows? First of all, smart workflows can handle various types of documents. You can scan and work with different type of documents in different departments over the company. Smart workflows helps to automate customer processes. So since the smart workflows is implemented, it helps customer to directly scan to the desired destination, to extract data from the scanned documents with no need of additional typing this information into the system through the MFP panel or through the workstation. And overall, it saves massive labor costs. So it reduces all the unnecessary steps or tasks during the scanning process or working with the document. It extends its ability to different departments, and customer can find many cost reduction across whole company. As been mentioned, there are different departments in the company where such solution can be used. I remember several customer meetings I was participating in the past, and every time we started discussion regarding how to reduce the labor cost, how to save the time of the employees, and every time we start a discussion with the invoices, it is a very common document find anywhere and in any company. But in many situations, the invoices are not only the area where the software can help the customers. We have different verticals, horizontals, and departments, starting from manufacturing, where the production lists, control lists, packaging lists are being processed, or the processes are being automated regarding increasing the quality management. And the business owners needs to have a tools which helps their employees to process documents automatically. Regarding different areas like in the staff or area of sales and purchase documentation, you can find the invoices mentioned here, but the smart workflows can process any other types like credit notes, orders, loan applications, all other documents which contain some specific data and which can be defined. Other areas or verticals like the logistic, project management or administration has their own specific documentation and type of processes. We can find the space and opportunity for smart workflows everywhere. For you as a partner and the final contact, endpoint contact with the customer, is very important to identify these opportunities, to have enough time to talk and try to uncover what is behind, where are the customer pain points, and where the smart workflows can help.
Yeah, so from our side, that's exactly where we find things. In every business, as Mikhail has just said, these documents are available and used in most businesses. There's many different ways as we take this conversation forward with you in separate sessions. There's very many ways in which we can interact with these various documents and automatically classify the documents, read the forms and the type of documents that they are, and automatically process them. But the conversation that you have with the customer is slightly different. And a bit later on in this presentation, we will cover that. But there's no magic here. These customers will be customers that you will probably already be talking to in your normal business lives when you're selling hardware and say something like MyQ. So, and these documents exist in all places, but it's how we can work with a very flexible system to deal with both the print output and the print input, which is what we see here.
So every such process generates the documentation. There will be plenty of documentation behind each of the process, and every such a process generates a workload. In many situations, the customer or the user needs to check the correctness of the documents. In many situations, the user retypes such data into the final destination, and well, it could be any enterprise management system. It can be document management system or some other one which is used during the entire system. But it's very important to investigate how much time spent the user with processing single document or the all complete set of documents, and there is the opportunity for smart workflows.
Yeah, to carry on from that one, I think some of the key elements of this particular slide is the fact that what we're not trying to do here is, do people out of jobs. What we're trying to do is show that where there's a manual efforts being required, where the customer normally has to approve an invoice or print something out and write on it and pass it manually to somebody else. But the whole smart workflow proposition means that we can save a lot of time. And also when you're talking about compliance with GDPR and other regulations, that there's some sort of traceability and security around the documents, all of which saves a fair bit of time. And depending on the customer's environment, means that you can import from a load of sources, but you can export to things as simple as folders or emails or document management systems, enterprise content management systems, those sort of packages as well. So that's what we're trying to do here, is what we call the soft cost. The cost it takes for somebody to physically do an act can all be cut down and streamlined. But behind that is all the document security and the savings that can be made by implementing a facility such as this.
If we check to the particular examples of documentation just for your imagination, there could be many different documents which needs to be processed, or there is an opportunity to process via smart workflows, such as contracts, for example, tax return forms, application forms, including printed fields, checkboxes or barcodes. And invoices for sure. These are one of the most common document which you can find in every company.
Okay, so here's an example of one of the key things that we can do with smart workflows when implementing it in any environment, because I would say the vast majority of companies will work with an invoice. That's normally the one thing that most companies will have, the method of getting paid, invoicing somebody. So looking at this, we can extract certain parts of the document as data, and we can use that data. So we have things like the invoice number, names and addresses, VAT numbers, delivery dates and times, other purchase order data, and line items as well. So you can scan these documents in and have smart workflows automatically recognize the document by using what we call forms recognition. And once we know what that document is, we know where to look for the relevant pieces of information. And each of those pieces of information can be used as metadata, and data that we can use, as I said earlier, to update a finance system or update a database even with those bits of information. So this is a key part of what we do. And because we understand that everyone's business is different and their documents are different, the smart workflows, the ScannerVision part, is the bit that will work with that and customize to the customer's needs to give them the information they require. And again, as this slide shows here, fairly straightforward. Depending on the organization, processing one invoice can take 5 to 10 minutes. Seems like an awful long time, but if you think of the process of getting the invoice in, reading that, matching it up with a delivery note and a nominal code, updating a database and things like that, that's what takes the time. And if it then has to go through an approval process and then finally be put into a document management system, for example, that all takes time. And when you add those up over every single invoice that comes into a company, that's where the costs can be saved. It's saving the time, but also meaning that the information is stored away quickly and securely into a business's systems. So the basic principles of what we do is very similar. There's many other bits of software on the market. We all do similar things, is to capture a document. And as you can see there, we do it from the multifunction device using smart workflows. We have our desktop mobile clients. We have options for capturing from a folder or an email, or many different versions of that. Then we process the documents. This is where we do something with it. And it could be something as simple as reading a barcode, or as we've shown on the last slide, an invoice number or something like that. But we can manipulate the documents. We can tidy the documents up. We can encrypt parts of documents as well. So this all becomes part of the way we process the document. And then the final part is to store the document away, the things that we do and where we put the document. So it can be a cloud system, OneDrive for Business, Dropbox, SharePoint, these sort of things, or as simple as a folder. Now, many of you that are familiar with MyQ are familiar with the fact that you can store documents in a folder. But we can browse multiple folder locations and we can add intelligence to that. When we scan to SharePoint, you can scan to SharePoint through MyQ, but to one folder. But with the smart workflows, we've now enhanced that, and we've now given the option where you can browse many different levels of folders within SharePoint or OneDrive for Business. We can also add metadata to SharePoint, and we can read metadata from SharePoint as well. So anyone that's familiar with how SharePoint works, it's not just storing the document, it's also storing information with that, all of which can be done now through the smart workflows integrated interface. And then we move on to our vertical markets. And I do a lot of these sort of webinars and training sessions. And many people seem to think that when you talk about scanning, all of a sudden that there's this brand new world of new customers. And it's not. Our vertical markets for scanning and documents imaging are exactly the same as your vertical markets when you're talking about MyQ or hardware. All of these customers that have requirements for print And when you're talking about MyQ, you're talking about secure printing, rules-based printing, accountability, and document security. This is for paper coming out of the MFP. The conversation afterwards is very easy then with these same vertical markets. What about securing the documents that you have that you want to bring into your business? The post, emails, these sort of things that are printed out. And then you can use smart workflows then to have the opposite conversation. Secure the documents coming in, work more intrinsically with your systems and your processes and your applications that you already have. So these verticals, I'm sure you've all worked with them as well. It's just that the conversation is slightly different. And subsequent sessions that we will have with you individually or as groups, we can drill down into how to have those conversations, how to turn it from the hardware sale to the MyQ managed print side of it into a document imaging conversation. And it's not as difficult as you think. One quick example is that when you've had the conversation about MyQ, you then say to them, show me your 3 most commonly used documents. Most of that time, it will be an invoice, delivery note, and a proof of delivery. So they'll show you that, and you then say, how do you work with those documents? And then you start the conversation for document capture and how you can work with smart workflows better.
So how it looks, I think we can demonstrate also what is behind. And I'm sorry, I can see my echo, so if someone can switch off the speaker, thank you. So from the user point of view, this how it is look like exactly. User logs in as is used to do with the MyQ. MyQ authenticates. You can see the part called Smart Workflows and the list of available workflows. You can start any process from here. For example, you can add the data regarding database record. You can add the information regarding car plate, and you just follow up the process, for example, the returning car into car hire. You can select the information whether the car was damaged or not, and then you can start the scanning process. The screen details you could see here can be, of course, disabled. And the same stuff you can do with many other types and different workflows, which can be, on the one hand, predefined, and on the other hand, it can be defined dynamically based on internal systems or questions and your answers you provide during the operational MFP. Maybe, Brian, you have something to add here?
Yes, indeed. One of the things I'd like to say is that the important part here is that on that video, it just shows you a small snapshot of what's possible. But as you'll be aware with MyQ, you log in and the tiled interface that you see is customized to your particular username. Even the language, the interface is shown. When you click the Smart Workflow button, as you can see there, those are the workflows. These are the templates that you have access to. And these, again, are predefined based on your user credentials. So someone in HR can't see the templates that someone might work in payroll. So again, we take that to another level, that it's not just the tiled interface within MyQ that is unique to you as a user, but the workflows that you can see and the way that you can interact with the documents, again, is tailored to you as a user. This is all down to document security and making sure that the documents are stored in the right place securely.
Before describing other examples how the smart workflows can be used, we prepare for you 7 lucky examples. So I will start with the first one, and it is about the form recognition and document classification. In many companies, there is a task or process of processing or scanning incoming post, which is coming through the post. They are in paper form, but be also delivered by fax or delivered by email to the one input address, like invoicing at company ABC or orders at company ABC. So the person behind who is taking care about the mailbox in paper form or electronic form needs to decide based on the content or document type where such information should go, and in which case is this document attached to. And this is, let's say, quite job which will require lots of work and lots of time depending on the amount of documentation. We can set smart workflows as a beginning on this process for identification the document type and workflow. It means sending the document, including some important information regarding the name or the document type to the specific destination, to the DMS system for approval, or to the mailbox in the case this is a mail, post mail, which should be transferred to the digital form, or in the case these are documents related to human resources or customer service.
Okay, so this slide or this use case talks about dynamic metadata. Now, one of the things that we are keen not to do on these webinars is get too technical, but essentially metadata can be as simple as typing in a name into a box, and that is metadata. There is static metadata, which is information that already lives in the system, such as today's date or the IP address of the multifunction device. But there's also a dynamic element to what we do. So when you capture documents from, when you capture data from documents, we can look at that data and make sure that the data is there. And if it's there, it's fine, it can get processed. If it's not, then we can manually email it to somebody for them to process that document and use one of the other tools that, that we have to do that. But the other thing that's also useful with dynamic metadata is that you can ask multiple questions that all have a relevance to each other. And what I mean by that is the first question could be something like, what is the country? And you put in Scotland. And the next question will say, what is the city? But the answers are only the ones that are available in Scotland. And you can drill down like that. So with something like this mortgage application you see on here, that we can type in an ID number and it can go to a database and recover application, income, debt details, and these sort of things, but then just leave the bit that's missing to be filled in. So this is where we talk about dynamic data and what you can do with it. So there's other ways of validating information as well, but it's something that's very, very important, that we're not just relying on people to know the answers to everything, that we can find that information from other systems or databases.
I will add here that this is real competitive advantage comparing other tools and applications on the market. Many, I would say the most scan and workflow application from our competitors are based on the static workflows. So the user can have an option only for scanning based on the predefined workflow, which has been predefined by administrator, mostly on the beginning of the installation. And the application doesn't, let's say, doesn't have a flexible options regarding how the documents can be handled. This is different with the smart workflows. Another example is regarding annotations and zonal redaction. So we choose this example regarding working with the sensitive documents. You know very well from MyQ that you can print out documents which contains annotation. For example, text confidential, which will be like watermark across the document, and it was related to printed documents. We can do the same currently with the smart workflows with the scanning digital document. So since the document is scanned, it can be obtained by some picture, some watermark, or some information in a header, barcode, or some other identification which is attached to the digital document and is not separable. Regarding the handling the personal data or person document, we can use another function which is called zonal redaction. So we can define which zones of the document should be redacted, which zone should be covered by black box, and the information in the digital documents will not be visible. This is a typical example if the contract is have to be published or shared with third-party persons. All the personal data have to be deleted or redacted, for example, to fulfill GDPR compliance.
Yeah, just to add to that, as I said at the beginning, that we're looking at many different ways of enhancing the system. And while this is based on an area of a document, so we use a number of methods, as I said earlier, with forms recognition, for example, to recognize what the document is and where to redact the document. As part of our collective roadmap, we are going to have the facility to redact keywords. So at the MyQ interface, you'll be able to type the words that you don't want to be visible. And when the document is stored, those words will be covered. But in a similar way, we're also going to be offering the option to highlight documents, words in a document, sorry. So you'll be able to type in a list of words that you want to be found. And when the document is then created, those words will be highlighted. So at the moment, it's just based on a zone. But again, like every company, we have a roadmap and we have features that we want to bring. So this word redaction is available. One of the things that's also important to note is that when you redact a part of a document, you create it, the final document, and it cannot be read, the data cannot be seen. There's also the option within Smart Workflows to encrypt a part of a document as well. So it may be that you don't want to destroy the original document, but you might want the people that have the relevant rights to be able to encrypt a part of the document and view what's underneath. So that is something that, that is also available as well. Okay, so the fourth use case is optical character recognition. Now, we make a lot of talk about optical character recognition and how we can...
Sorry, there's some automatic slide switch.
Right. So yeah, we make a big thing about optical character recognition because in ScannerVision as a product, which is now available obviously with the smart workflows, we have two methods of optical character recognition, what we call two engines, which provide 40 languages. We can do automatic orientation. We've got Asian languages. There are no page limits to the number of pages that you can put through the system. So in that regard, it becomes a very, very flexible solution for converting documents and using optical character recognition to create Word documents or text searchable PDFs documents and things like that. So we can convert from your paper document through the MyQ interface or other digital documents into a whole range of other document types, such as JPEGs, PNG files, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, that sort of thing. So many different options. And the good thing is that all of the conversion is done within the single piece of software. So you don't have to install the ScannerVision and MyQ options and then a lot of other things in order to convert the documents. they are all built into the system as standard. And to take that one step further, we also realise that you don't need to read the whole page. You don't need to read all the words off of a page. So we have the option for zonal OCR. So as we said with the invoices, we can take this to any other document, that if all we need is an address, we can just create a zone and just read the text and return the text from that particular area of a document.
And this affects the speed of processing a lot. So because software doesn't need to process a whole page, but can focus only on a specific zone, and the processing is much faster. So regarding another use case, this is from a little bit different area and not strictly related to MFP, but there are similarities. With a mobile client, which will be part of the price list, can be ordered, is a mobile client which enables user to scan different types of documents or even objects. So this is not strictly related to Office documents. And the behavior is very similar as is used with the MFP. So user just make an image, add the metadata, select the workflow, and store the document in desired destination. So very similar use as he would be using MFP. Actually, his credentials are the same, whether he authenticates at the MFP or uses mobile phone. Every time he has the same available workflows to be used, to be processed. So with such application, you can scan expenditures or bills during your business trips, or invoices, which I believe everyone sometimes need to scan, even maybe nowadays when we are cut off our offices and need to work from homes. So the mobile application could, let's say, replace the MFP, which we don't need to have at our homes. And we can add several metadata. Some data are added automatically, like the owner of the document or the date of the scanning, but we can add other data manually regarding, for example, bill. We can place the total amount, currency, or expenditure time, and send the document for approval to our manager.
Okay, so we mentioned a couple of slides ago about zonal OCR, so reading the text in a zone. But one of the big things that this does bring to the market now is zonal barcode recognition. Now, many companies are using barcodes, and there seems to be in the market now a resurgence in people using barcodes, either the sort of standard barcode or the 2D, the QR. And the good thing with the QR code is that you can have far more information in a much smaller space. And using some things called regular expressions within the ScannerVision product and the Smart Workflow product, we can manipulate that data and use various bits of that data in a QR code to do various operations. We can read multiple barcodes on a sheet, and we can pick a barcode to split the document. So if you put lots of documents into a document feeder, we can look for one specific barcode on each document and use that to define that there's a new document, and we can create separate files. But if there are other barcodes on the document that have other bits of information, we can then export that data, or as I say, simply we could name the document with that data. But it's a very simple process using these what we call regular expressions of validating a barcode to make sure that it meets a certain criteria. For example, the barcode must have 10 digits. And if it has 10 digits, it's valid. If it's not, then you need to inform somebody and they can manually process it. So again, when you put a document in through Smart Workflows, it's very hard to lose that document because there's all these ways of validating the data. But zonal barcode recognition is now a big thing where we can automatically recognize the zones. We don't even need to know the type of barcode. Many other bits of software, you need to know the type of barcode you're working with before you can draw a zone and read the data. We can automatically detect whatever barcode it is. And again, we support all of the most commonly used and some of the less commonly used barcodes, for this feature. So something that's very good, very useful, and any company like logistics, retail, and car dealerships that use barcodes all the time, then this is a very, very good solution to integrate with those types of environments.
And the last use case we choose to present you is regarding possibility of scanning or interaction with various enterprise content management systems. So as been mentioned on the beginning, we can even use smart workflows to store to the final destination. And ScannerVision in this part is very strong and has prepared a huge bunch of different connectors to the different systems. So you can scan documents into, for example, SharePoint, but not only the scan to the predefined destination, but you can also use a much more deeper interaction with the final destination. You can select the correct library, you can name the document, you can browse through the destination and create, for example, new folder. The same functionalities are, for example, for the Google Drive or mFiles or other typical DMS system used across different businesses and enterprises.
Yeah, to add to that, what you'll find is that these connectors, what we call connectors, are built into the system. So they're not additional cost connectors. Now, many other of our competitor products will charge extra for these. So the ones you see here, plus some others, are built into the system. But one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that our connections to these systems are what we call bidirectional. And that means not only do we write data to these locations, but we can read data from them as well. So, for example, with DocuWare, a popular document management system, that we can store documents away, but we can read automatically the index fields that we require for that particular job. And they can be presented at the MyQ interface. You type in the index options, press the button, and it's scanned and stored automatically into something like DocuWare. So as you can see there, Dropbox, Evernote's not very used very much now, but there's a lot of commonly used systems there. I've explained about SharePoint and how we integrate very, very tightly with SharePoint. But one thing that we talk about when we talk about this particular thing with connectors is that the smart workflows proposition, the ScannerVision side of it, is that if you go to a customer and you're talking to them and say it's a logistics company that have got their own in-house application that's been developed for the movement of stock, then we can very easily build a connector or a connection using some scripting and some clever stuff that we do in a very quick time frame to connect into that. So in all the years I've been dealing with ScannerVision on sales and technical, it's one of these things where there's been no customer we've not been able to fulfill their requirements. There's always a way around it. So when we look at some of our competitive products where they charge a lot of money and it takes months of development time, the way that we work with MyQ and the way that ScannerVision works is we can turn that around very quickly. So just because a connector isn't available on that screen or on our website, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't connect with a customer's application. So we just invite you then to talk to us about the options and these particular prospects, and we can guide you in the right direction.
I would say this is another very big competitive advantage which we currently have, because no many systems offer so many connectors and possibilities to integrate with existing customer enterprise systems. So what is next? What you can expect from us? Well, First of all, the webinar recording, the presentation will be available day after this session, so we will send everything tomorrow. You will find also information on partner portal. In the case you will be interested for getting more info, please contact your local MyQ representative. And in the parallel time, we are preparing set of training and certifications for our partners, and we will share the details of such certifications in the following 2 weeks. So for those who are interested to start selling MyQ Ultimate and smart workflows, we are very happy, and we are happy to support you. We spend lots of time with the ScannerVision. Brian can offer plenty of knowledge regarding technical, but we also organize a sales training for you, so you will be covered by both parts. So I think that's now it is all. I would like to ask you for placing your questions. We will have a time to immediately answer them because the time is running up. But if you place your questions into the chat, we will do our best to deliver you answers during the share of webinar, so we will receive them tomorrow. We'll sit down with the teams because some of the questions might be technical. Some is regarding the licensing and so on, so we will prepare the answers for you and share this with you. So,
sorry, I'm back. I had a communication problem. Everything sort of stopped for a second, so I do apologise.
No worries, right? We are just saying goodbye to our partners. So I would like to thank all for staying with us and participating in this call. Don't worry, you will get the information soon. We did quite a great job regarding its preparation, so you will get it in the following days. And wish you all the best and good luck.
Yep, I'd like to add to that. We'll keep the session open for the next 5 minutes just to allow you to ask any questions using the Q&A. But we are all available during the usual channels if you need to. But just to reiterate, I wish you all well and hope you stay safe. And we will answer the questions either this afternoon or tomorrow from my side. I've answered a few as we've gone through the webinar, but this is only the start of this. As I say, it's a great system. It's a great integration. It works very, very well. So with your support to help selling it, we will support you selling this, and hopefully you'll be able to see the advantages that when we come out of all of this virus stuff the other end, that we've now got something really, really good to take to market. So from the ScannerVision side, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all well.
Thank you. Goodbye.